Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at LairdPage.
LairdPage.
Yeah, they're over in the UK
Okay.
doing web design and digital consulting.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and our main source today is going to be their website.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking this could be really helpful for anyone listening
Yeah.
who, maybe has a small business
Sure.
or is thinking about starting one
Okay.
to see how they can really make the most of, the online world,
Yeah.
especially if they're working with a tight budget.
Yeah. That's a big one these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Budgets are tight.
One of the things that immediately jumped out to me when I was looking at the website
Yeah.
was this focus on affordability
Okay.
and tailored solutions.
Yeah.
And they really seem to be targeting
Yeah.
new or small businesses,
Okay.
which is a pretty unique angle, right?
It is. Yeah. You don't see that too often.
No.
Usually it's like we do everything for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just like lip service either.
But really.
They actually introduce us to the founder, Andy Laird, on the website.
Okay.
And he flat out says that he only works with new or small businesses.
Interesting.
So it's not just that he prefers it.
Right.
That's his whole focus.
Wow. That's a strong statement.
It is.
It makes me think he really understands the challenges those businesses face.
Yeah, maybe even better than a firm that's trying to be everything to everyone.
Could be. Yeah.
So, okay, let's actually unpack what LairdPage does.
Okay. Sure.
Obviously, web design is front and center, right?
Right.
But they're also really pushing this digital consulting side of things.
Digital consulting. Now, what does that even mean in this context?
I was wondering the same thing because it's a pretty broad term.
It is.
So what do you think? What do they mean by that?
Well, I think it goes beyond just building a pretty website, right?
Yeah.
It's more about helping these businesses figure out their whole online strategy.
Their online strategy?
Yeah, like how do they use digital tools to streamline their operations?
I see.
How do they actually reach new customers online?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's almost like,
Like hand-holding.
yeah, digital hand-holding.
Yeah.
For those who don't have a big in-house team.
Right, because a lot of small businesses, especially when they're starting out,
Yeah.
they don't have a whole marketing department.
Exactly.
So they need that extra guidance.
They do.
So it's not just about the website itself, but how that website fits into a bigger picture.
Exactly. And that's where this whole idea of tailored solutions comes in, I think.
Okay. Yeah. How so?
Well, LairdPage seems to be all about understanding what the client's specific goals are
Right.
and then building a web presence that actually achieves those goals,
Makes sense.
whether it's driving sales or boosting brand awareness or something else entirely.
Yeah, it's about being strategic
Definitely.
and not just throwing something up there and hoping for the best.
Nope, not at all.
And they're really making a big deal about providing this high-quality work.
But without breaking the bank,
Right.
which has got to be appealing to a lot of small business owners who maybe think that a good website is just out of reach for them budget-wise.
I think that's a really common misconception.
Really?
Yeah, people think that good digital work is just a luxury for big companies.
Hmm.
But LairdPage seems to be challenging that assumption head on.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Like, you can have a professional online presence without spending a fortune.
Right. It's possible.
So let's talk about how they actually break this down into services.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Because they list a bunch of different services on their website.
They do, yeah.
What's the first one that jumps out at you?
The one that really piques my interest is tailored web design.
Tailored web design.
Yeah, and it's not just about making a website that looks good.
Right,
It's about understanding the client's business goals
right.
and creating a website that's designed to achieve those goals.
I
Whether that's driving e-commerce sales or just providing information in a clear and easy way.
Yeah, it's like building a house,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, good analogy.
You wouldn't just hire an architect for the looks.
Right.
You'd also want them to understand how your family lives.
Exactly.
So they can design a space that's functional for your needs.
Exactly, and that's where the consulting element comes in, I think.
Okay.
It's about having those in-depth conversations with the client,
Hmm.
understanding their vision, and then translating that vision into a website that's both beautiful and effective.
I like that. Beautiful and effective.
Got to have both, right?
Absolutely. Another service that caught my eye was this engaging and relevant content.
Okay, content. Yeah,
We all know content is king these days,
for sure.
but what I found interesting here was this emphasis on making that content relevant
Relevant.
to the target audience.
Yeah, it's not enough to just churn out blog posts and social media updates.
Right.
It needs to connect with the people you're trying to reach. It needs to provide value, build trust,
Mm.
and ultimately Encourage them to take action.
Whatever that action may be.
Exactly.
And then there's this whole idea of strategic optimization for online visibility.
Okay, optimization.
I know this is where SEO comes in.
Search engine optimization.
Exactly, search engine optimization.
It's a mouthful.
But they're not just like throwing out a buzzword here.
Right.
They really seem to be emphasizing a strategic approach.
And that's key. Right.
It is.
Because SEO isn't just about stuffing your website with keywords. It's about understanding how search engines work, optimizing your content for those engines,
Right.
building high-quality backlinks, making sure your website is technically sound.
It's complicated.
Whole science.
It is. And for a small business owner,
Yeah.
that can feel really overwhelming. They might not even know where to start.
Exactly. So that's why I think this strategic optimization service could be so valuable.
Yeah, I see that.
Because it takes the guesswork out of SEO and gives them a clear roadmap for improving their online visibility.
Awesome. So we've got tailored web design, engaging content, strategic SEO.
Yep.
What other services are they offering under this big digital umbrella?
Well, they talk about digital marketing strategies for wider reach.
Okay, so this is where things like social media marketing come in.
Exactly. Social media, email marketing, online advertising.
This whole shebang.
It's about going beyond just the website
Okay.
and using a multi-pronged approach to connect with potential customers.
So it's not just about building a website and then just like letting it sit there.
Right. It has to be part of a larger plan.
Exactly. It's like building this whole integrated digital ecosystem.
I like that, an ecosystem.
You've got the website as the central hub.
The hub, yeah.
And then you've got all these other channels working together to drive traffic and engagement.
Exactly. And for a small business, this can be huge.
Why is that?
Well, because they often don't have the resources for big marketing campaigns.
Right.
But this kind of targeted, strategic approach to digital marketing can really help them compete.
I see what you mean. It can level the playing field a bit.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered quite a few services already.
Oh, yeah.
Web design, content, SEO, digital marketing.
It's a lot.
What else is on their list?
One of the last things they mention is crafting a strong brand.
Crafting a strong brand.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, why is that?
Because they're essentially saying that branding is no longer just for big corporations. Even a small business can benefit from a strong brand identity.
And that makes sense, right?
It does.
Yeah.
In a crowded online marketplace,
Yeah,
having a clear brand message can help you stand out.
absolutely. So it's not just about having a logo and some colors.
What?
It's about defining your values.
Your personality, your unique selling proposition.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And then creating a consistent experience across all your digital touch points.
And that's something that LairdPage can help with.
It seems so. They say they work with clients to understand their core values, identify their target audience, and develop a brand strategy that resonates.
Wow, so they really are going above and beyond just building websites.
It seems like it.
They're helping these small businesses craft their entire online presence.
Their whole digital identity.
But how do we know if they're actually good at this?
That's a good question.
Do they have any proof?
Well, that's what we're going to look at next.
Okay.
They have a whole section on their website dedicated to client testimonials.
Awesome.
So let's dive into some specific examples and see what these clients are saying about their experiences with LairdPage.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what they have to say.
I think that will give us some real insights into the quality of their work and their approach to client relationships.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Okay. So let's actually jump into some of these client testimonials.
Yeah, let's see what people are saying.
Because, you know, seeing what actual customers have to say is always more compelling than just taking the company's word for it.
It's like getting a sneak peek behind the curtain, right?
Exactly. So one that I thought was really interesting
Yeah.
was from this guy, Gary Greenfield, of Fancy a Payday.
Okay, fancy a payday.
And he talks about Andy's attention to detail
Okay.
and how he completed the website in only 4 days.
4 days. Wow, that's impressive.
Right.
Attention to detail and a quick turnaround time.
Yeah.
That's a winning combination.
Especially for small businesses, you know?
Yeah, they're often working against the clock.
Exactly. So it shows they're efficient, but not cutting corners.
Right.
And speaking of speed,
Okay.
another testimonial that stood out to me was from Edward Wateridge of King Campers.
In campers, okay.
And he was really impressed with how Andy, like, seamlessly integrated plugins and cutting-edge features
Oh, wow.
into the website, but while still, like, staying true to their vision.
That's key, right?
It is.
It's one thing to have all of the technical skills,
Yeah.
but it's another to actually understand the client's vision and translate that into a functional website.
Right. It's got to be more than just a pretty website.
Exactly.
It's got to actually work for the business.
It does, and it sounds like Andy's good at that.
Yeah, he seems to have a knack for that.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that I notice
Yeah.
going through all these testimonials
Okay.
is how much people praise Andy's communication skills.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they talk about his responsiveness and his ability to, like, explain complex things in a way that's easy to understand.
That's so important. You
Yeah.
could have the most talented web developer in the world,
Right.
but if they can't communicate effectively with the client,
Yeah, the project's going to fall apart.
exactly, communication is key.
Builds trust, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this
Yeah.
and they're thinking, LairdPage sounds great. How do I learn more?
Well, luckily, they make it pretty easy.
Do they?
Yeah. On their website, they have a very clear call to action.
What is it?
Get a quotation.
Get a quotation.
Straight to the point.
I like that.
Encourages people to take that next step.
It does.
And it also kind of suggests a personalized approach, right? Which fits with their whole emphasis on tailored solutions.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I like that they go beyond just like the basic contact info.
Oh, yeah. What else do they have?
They also highlight this LairdPage Facebook group.
A Facebook group, huh?
Yeah, it's a free resource for anyone who's interested in,
Web design?
web design, digital consulting.
That's smart.
It's a really good way to build community, I think.
It is. And it shows they're not just about getting clients.
Right.
They want to help people.
They're invested in seeing people succeed online.
Exactly.
And plus, it's a great way for potential clients to kind of get a feel for their approach and values.
Yeah, get a sense of their personality.
Before they even reach out for a quote.
For sure.
And they make it super easy to find all the essential information.
Okay, good.
Like pricing, FAQs, more testimonials, their location, all that stuff.
Transparency is key.
It is, especially in this industry, I think.
Absolutely builds trust.
Yeah, because you want to make sure you're working with someone who's upfront and honest.
Exactly.
Okay, so for our listener out there who's maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by this whole online world,
It can be a lot.
what would you say is like the key takeaway from all this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that having a strong online presence doesn't have to be complicated or expensive.
That's a good point.
LairdPage seems to be proving that, making it accessible for even the smallest of businesses.
And they're not just throwing a website together and calling it a day.
No, they're thinking about the bigger picture.
They are. They're taking a holistic approach,
Yeah.
considering the client's goals, brand, overall digital strategy.
It's about creating a website that actually works for the business,
Exactly.
not just looks pretty.
And they're doing it with a focus on communication and transparency,
Right, which is so important.
which can make the whole process less daunting for people who are new to this.
For sure.
All right, so we've explored LairdPage's services, looked at some real-world examples, gotten a glimpse into their approach.
Behind the scenes.
Before we wrap up,
Right.
I want to leave our listener with something to ponder.
Okay, fire away.
Knowing how crucial a good online presence is these days,
Eventually, really.
what's one small step you can take today to improve yours?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It could be anything, really.
Yeah.
Updating your website's About Us page,
Okay.
brainstorming some social media post ideas, even just spending 15 minutes researching a basic SEO technique.
Yeah, just start somewhere.
Exactly. The point is to take action,
Even if it feels small.
even if it's small.
Because those small steps can lead to big results.
They do.
And, hey, if LairdPage has inspired you to dive deeper into this whole world of web design and digital consulting,
It's a fascinating world.
we've included links to their website and their Facebook group in the show notes.
Awesome, good resources.
Yeah, check it out. It's really inspiring to see a company like LairdPage out there, really like championing small businesses.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think they get it,
What do you mean?
that like a strong online presence these days,
Yeah.
it's not just a nice to have.
Right.
It's essential.
Especially for smaller companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're competing with those big players.
Totally. And I think they're proving that you don't need a massive budget to make it happen.
No, you don't.
It's more about...
Smart strategy,
Yeah.
clear communication,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of
And
creativity.
creativity for sure.
Those can go a long way.
Yeah, they can. And you know what else I really liked about them?
What's that?
Is that Facebook group
Oh, yeah, that Facebook group.
that they have going.
It's a brilliant idea.
It is. What do you like about it?
Well, it's like they're creating this space for people to learn from each other,
Yeah.
share ideas, get support.
I feel like they're building a movement almost.
The movement.
Yeah, like a movement of small businesses
I like that.
who are empowered to thrive
Yeah.
in this digital age.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
It's a pretty compelling vision.
It is. It is.
You know, and it's also a good reminder that even though the online world can feel
Oh, yeah.
vast and intimidating,
Absolutely.
there are resources out there.
There are.
There people who are willing to help you.
And guide you.
Yeah.
And help you succeed.
You just have to be willing to take that first step.
The first step is always the hardest.
It is. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've explored LairdPage's approach to web design,
Mm-hmm.
digital consulting,
Yep.
even branding.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We looked at what makes them unique,
Mm-hmm.
heard from their clients directly.
Real people.
And hopefully
Yeah.
this has given our listeners a good understanding of
who they are and what they do.
yeah,
And why their approach might be a good fit.
for certain businesses.
For sure.
And even if you know LairdPage isn't the right fit for you,
Right.
I hope this has at least,
Spark some ideas.
spark some ideas.
Got people thinking about the possibilities.
A little bit of excitement about the digital world.
It's an exciting world out there.
It is, and whether you decide to check out LairdPage or explore other options,
Yep.
the important thing is to
Keep learning.
keep learning,
Experimenting.
experimenting.
Finding what works best for you.
That's it.
That's the key.
Find what works for you, and remember,
Yeah.
the digital landscape is always evolving.
Always changing.
So stay curious,
Stay curious.
stay adaptable.
And never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time with a brand new topic to explore.